But you don't not solve the problem just because it's going to be difficult. You figure a way of how you're going to get the right thing done. So we become a nation of crises. The good news is we can fix these crises. But in order to do it, it starts with a change of leadership. Here's my challenge to you. Because you represent that spirit of America that the founding fathers had when they started this great nation. I have been traveling and speaking for nearly 2 years, talking and listening to the people. Not the mainstream people, not the so-called political elite. Listen to the people. Because I happen to believe if you listen to the people, they'll tell you what's on their hearts and on their minds. And a lot of these comments.
I'm about to go live, and well, I'm about to make some comments in a few minutes. Y'all can probably guess who this is by the sound of his voice. This is Herman Cain. If I had a little more time, I would put this on my laptop and have the split screen, but I don't quite have the software for that yet. I need to get that, and I haven't quite installed it yet. Y'all like, share, and comment. I have several things to talk about after this. Hey, Julia. Hey, Dwayne. This is Herman Cain speaking in the state of Arkansas during his race for president in 2012.
They are concerned about the future of this country.
I'm just kind of leave it there for folks while I adjust my camcorder.
President Barack Obama and his administration took over. People were calling the show saying that they are fearful of the future of this country.
And they had a right to be.
We've gone from concern to fear because of the road that this administration has.
There was a problem. Hey, Judy. Hey, P. Gentry.
They want to get back on the right track. Challenge you to do 3 things, and we can do this. Number 1, stay informed.
Stay informed.
Bad information out there. With this big bullseye on my back, you're going to hear a lot of bad information about me. If they can't find it,
this was done by Jason Tolbert. I'm not sure if he's still filming stuff or not. I am also on YouTube, so you can watch me on there. You can check out my other links. I'm right now. I'm going to share this link to Parler, Gab. And then I'll also upload video of this to YouTube, which is the conservative alternative to YouTube. Matter of fact, I'm copying the link now of this so you can share it to other folks.
But the numbers are on our side. Here's how we beat them. All conservatives have got to make sure that you get out.
For those who don't know,
too many conservatives stayed home last time.
This individual passed away earlier today. He did have cancer, and they said that he may have caught the Wuhan virus, and that may have contributed to his death. But in reality, he had just survived colon cancer. He was 74, and he may have had other health conditions that we may not know about. Here is the link to share with others. You can do is you can text this link. We get the conservatives out. Another great piece of advice. And I'm going to share this link on Gab right now, which also puts me on Twitter.
They're not going to come break the hardcore liberals. But it turns out that there are more of us that think like us than there are of them. They just make more noise. That's all it is. They just make more noise.
Now they also get better media coverage.
Know the facts. Know the facts. Such that when you sit around Thanksgiving, sit around and take Thanksgiving.
This was in 2012 when he ran for president. He lost the Republican nomination along with everyone else to the Rhino Mitt Romney, who I believe deliberately gave that election to Obama. Mitt Romney has since then joined Black Lives Matter, has been an anti-conservative advocate as his father was.
over it by some energetic reporter that said.
Okay, well, that was part of his speech that he did in Arkansas. This was in October 28th of 2011. As I said in his comments, and I've said before, we should have picked him over Mitt Romney. I don't remember if he was my favorite pick, but he was 1,000 times better than Mitt Romney. YouTube is better. Is it better in sound or better in angle of camera? I can't quite tell. Yes, and he was. And actually, Obama spoke at hey, Rebecca. Obama spoke at the John Lewis funeral. He was a Democrat who was involved in the civil rights movement, but since then joined the anti-black party known as the Democrat Party, and was a strong proponent of abortion and the welfare state and all the other things that have kept blacks down for years. So, folks, and Mark Levin has done a radio show, but he basically stood on John Lewis's coffin to make a bunch of stupid political speeches. And I don't know if there were other people that were with him that did that. Hey, Tyler. Hi, Diana. But anyway, Herman Cain was passed away early this morning, as I said before. He died mainly of several health complications. He was 74. He had just survived colon cancer, and the Wuhan virus may have contributed to his death. But also, and so Facebook may be trying to break this broadcast up. I am on YouTube. Let me see if I can find the way to share this stream. Oh, there it is. There's a link. So if the Facebook decides to jam me, because Mark Zuckerberg has been busy jamming people, especially if they talk about hydroxychloroquine. Here is the YouTube link. Now, if that goes down, Parler and Gab don't have a live stream, so I don't know. But you can click on Parler and Gab where they have this. Oh, crap. I forgot to. Gab is kind of an alternative to Twitter. Matter of fact, you can actually log onto there, link your Twitter account to the Gab account, and it should connect. So where when you broadcast on one, it goes to the other. Let me see. I'm trying to get to my post here. Hey, Amanda. Dang it, I just made my post and now I can't find it. Anyway, here's my YouTube page. But what I'm doing is I'm using my laptop to post links, and I'll switch back and forth. I had a bunch of good tags too. Now I can't find them. Hashtag Arkansas, hashtag Herman Cain. But like I said, he made a lot of good comments. He had something called a 999 plan. I'm not, like I said, I don't think he was my main pick in 2012, but I know he's 1,000 times better than the rhino that we ended up with, who, like I said before, gave up the election. And I like a lot of what he said, especially in that comment there about getting involved. We definitely need more people to get involved. The anti-American left with BLM, along with the cowardly Democrat and rhino politicians that appease them, are on the move. They are, of course, taking over sections of blue cities like Portland and Seattle, causing massive amounts of violence, getting people killed. People now are having to defend themselves just while driving down the street. That is what happened in Austin, Texas. Some hedonist fake libertarian walked up to a guy in a car who was part of a violent communist protest called Black Lives Matter. The guy saw him as a threat and shot back and killed him. Supposedly, it's not clear whether the guy with the AK-47, the fake libertarian, fired. Garrett, I think his name was, fired first or not. Somebody from Black Lives Matter did shoot back. But I mean, these psychos were blocking the road, The guy tried to get away. They came up to him, and one guy came up with an AK. Quite frankly, if you're driving down the street and one of these Black Lives Matter mobs approach your vehicle, honk the horn, try to get away. But if you can't, run them over and shoot. They are a threat to you. They have dragged people out and killed them or robbed them. So the guy acted correctly. The authorities have already let him go. Hopefully he's got the gun insurance, and they won't have a Soros prosecutor to try to bankrupt him like they did the Mikulskis. And by the way, I believe the charges against the St. Louis, Missouri couple, the Mikulskis, were dropped, which should have never happened in the first place. And the idiot who did the prosecution should be prosecuted herself. I know that she was funded by George Soros, and that she did try to basically either put them in jail or bankrupt them. And fortunately, number one, they were lawyers. Yeah, you shouldn't, Jim. You shouldn't. And it's happened in several other places too. I think New Mexico was another place where the guy was actually, they actually tried to drag him out, and he shot and killed one. And then there was another incident, I think it was either New Mexico or Arizona, where a guy was attacked several people attacked a guy. One of them got a skateboard and had a knife, and the guy had to shoot an Antifa thug dead. But before you sit there and go, oh, this is happening in blue states, it is happening here in Arkansas. Earlier, I think in March it was, when Black Lives Matter, right after the video showing Derek Chauvin putting the knee on what appears to be George Floyd, and the race riots were allowed to start in Minneapolis and spread when they should have been stopped, when the National Guard should have been called in that day. Of course, they have a coward for mayor there who was literally dancing with them, dancing with the devil, and appeasing them, and then still got yelled at, almost beat up then. But here in Little Rock, we have Mayor Frank Scott Jr., and he is an Obama wannabe leftist appeaser, and he tried to march along with Black Lives Matter. But before he did his famous march with Black Lives Matter, where they did vandalism, he stated that they had a right to block I-630, one of the big interstate that cuts between the east and mainly west end of Little Rock. Oh yeah, Jim. They've attacked news reporters as well. Matter of fact, a few of them tried to pick a fight with me. I had to motion a cop to get over with me. Yeah, they were allowed to block I-630. Matter of fact, they blocked the area right near Arkansas Children's Hospital, because they are right at where the state capitol is, and pretty much the next exit from there going west is the Arkansas Children's Hospital. Yeah, they blocked it. So if you had a kid who was sick from North Little Rock or Sherwood, and you got on I-30 and then 630. You would have been blocked trying to get to Arkansas Children's Hospital. Stupid. And that was the thing that Frank Scott Jr. allowed and encouraged. The Little Rock police chief, Keith, oh crap, now I can't remember his last name. I think it's Murphy. Doesn't matter. Little Rock police chief, he's a crook. He's actually under multiple investigations for everything from sexual harassment to trying to get his girlfriend, mistress, as in not his wife, a high-paying police job, to verbal abuse of Officer Starks and other white officers. For those who don't know, Officer Starks was a brave police officer who shot and killed a thug by the name of Bradley Blackshire. Had he not done so, Blackshire would have gone away, driven a car down Rodney Parham while high on something that had a gun and a young girl, which was a prostitute, in his car, and probably gotten somebody else killed or committed another crime to add to his rap sheet. But there's some people that want to try to make Bradley Blackshire into the next saint or hero, or try to make him into the next Martin Luther King or Medgar Evers or whatever. The next Rosa Parks. And it's a sad, disgusting state that we're in, where these cowardly, worthless race baiters are able to hijack the fight to end racism and use it to benefit the communist left. And having said that, there have been several violent protests by Black Lives Matter here in Arkansas. They actually attacked Frank Scott Jr. They smashed a bunch of windows up and down Capitol. I think they may have been responsible for some of the vandalism at Dempsey Bakery, because that's right near, just off the Capitol. And I think what happens is every night they have a little gathering there, and of course there's a bunch of thugs that come along with them, and then they decide, well, let's just go smash some windows. And of course the stupid curfews that Little Rock put in place were completely ignored and useless. Frank Scott Jr., I think, issued a curfew to either 9 or 8 o'clock. I can't remember which. It didn't matter because the BLM thugs ignored it, and quite frankly, so did everybody else. There's supposed to be some mask mandate. Yeah, I think they falsely accused him of sexual harassment, and then the charges were dropped after he's out of the race, just like they tried to do with Neil Gorsuch. And I think that was the main thing that brought him down. But anyway, folks, if you're on YouTube, you can comment too. I'll post the Facebook link to YouTube. I'm broadcasting on both of them. But the mob here in Black Lives Matter has been empowered thanks to the cowardice of several leaders. As I mentioned before, Frank Scott Jr. is a guy who appeased them, marched alongside them, didn't enforce the curfew against them, and basically allowed them to riot and smash windows up and down Capitol Avenue in Little Rock. Asa Hutchinson, who also has appeased them by giving them a task force, had to step in with the Arkansas State Police and National Guard because he doesn't want the state to fall apart. Just a little side note, the kind of political issue behind that. Asa Hutchinson is a globalist. He is mainly responsible for a lot of the Wuhan virus deaths that are in this state by constantly doing business with the People's Republic of China. He doesn't want the state to fall apart right now because he needs to sell a tax increase in November called Arkansas Issue 1. There is a campaign to fight against that. And so I urge people to vote against Arkansas Issue 1 on the November ballot. It is a tax increase. They're calling it an extension, but what they did is they passed a tax increase for road projects years ago, and they put a sunset clause for 2022. And like all sunset clauses and tax increases, it's an absolute lie. What they do is they either find a way to justify keeping the tax increase, or they use it to offset it by raising taxes somewhere else. And by the way, this would be a permanent change to the Arkansas Constitution. Thanks for the likes. Hey, Melissa. Yeah, like, share, and comment on this. Even if you can't stay, you got somewhere else to go, just say, hi. And then click that share button. Hey, Jesus Jam. But anyway, this Saturday at 6 p.m., a BLM thug, and that's about the best way to call him, has threatened to smash or tear down the Confederate statue in Little Rock. There are several statues in the Arkansas State Capitol. One of them is a marble statue to that honors the Confederate soldiers. I forgot exactly how it's detailed. I think it's a guy holding a flag. Look and see the other details of it. Doc Washburn first alerted people to it. I think it was either yesterday, the day before yesterday, that this thug put out a Facebook video saying that he's going to tear down this statue. He wants all Black Lives Matter people to show up, and that if anybody interrupts him, he would shoot them. Those are his words. That's what the guy said. Kip Brown is his name. He also has some kind of Black Lives Matter group called Endangered Species or something to that effect. And he's been up at the Capitol before. Matter of fact, there's a picture of him hanging out with other Black Lives Matter folks and Police Chief, I think, Keith Humphrey. And Doc Washburn's trying to get this guy on the show to talk about him. We're second highest, Rebecca. When you add up the sales tax and the income tax that we still have, and the not on here, I'm not able to post screenshots onto. I can't do screenshots onto a live stream with my phone. It doesn't allow me to do that, but I can post the link, and you can You can take it there. Matter of fact, I can do that right now. Yeah, honestly, I'd rather not deal with the statutes because going after them doesn't do anything. And Black Lives Matter is a violent, communist, anti-American organization. They have had protests in the past at the state capitol where they were allowed to bring their guns. Capitol rules say you're not supposed to have a magazine into your weapon, but they did. So I just posted a link to Doc Washburn. If you click on that link, or you may have to copy it and paste it, you can copy and paste it in your search bar, and it should take you to the post that talks about Kip Brown. Oh, and I forgot to mention, this guy does have a violent history. He's not supposed to have a gun at all. He actually was involved in a murder where he was a getaway driver. I think he served some years for that. So, number one, if you see this guy with a gun, he is actually committing a felony. Number two, you probably need to stay away from him because he is likely to kill someone, and that's just him. We know that there are violent thugs within Black Lives Matter. Dawn Jeffrey is one of them. She tried multiple times to pick fights with people from Blue Lives Matter. Then she tried to pick fights with people within her own organization. She yelled at the black militia for not coming up with guns and starting a war. She's been posting on Facebook before that she wants to start a race war of some kind. Hey, Laura. So, yeah. And that's just one of them. There's others. Well, Melissa, if you want to run a background check with Kip, if you want to post anything about his rap sheet, hey, Bruce, some of the other crimes he's committed, yeah, feel free to do so. Yeah, George Floyd had a rap sheet a while long, too. Matter of fact, he had the Wuhan virus and meth, so that may have helped to kill him. And Derek Chauvin should still probably will likely go to jail for murder, as he should, because you can't have cops putting knees on people, suffocating them. I'm beginning to think that Derek Chauvin and George Floyd may have been involved in a counterfeit money scheme or something else. That Derek Chauvin may be kind of like Vic Mackey from The Shield, who had a dirty scheme going and got rid of a guy. I don't know what's happened now. Doc Washburn has tried to get hold of this guy and see where he is, and he's been silent. This guy's usually pretty vocal, and now Doc's like, where is this guy? He's invited him on his show. He hasn't been on since then, but like I said, this is one guy who already has a violent rap sheet himself, and a couple of Black Lives Matter people, they show up, they'll try to pick fights with someone, and they may bring guns as well. So if you're driving around Little Rock, try to stay away from the Arkansas State Capitol from about 5 to probably 7, and watch the news to see what happens. I'm not sure if I'm going to go there and film or not. I may have some other things coming up. There is one thing that's going on. Americans for Prosperity is having what's known as a day of action, where they're doing phone banking against big government projects. They've defeated tax increases. They've helped voter education regarding several issues. You can contact Americans for Prosperity Arkansas for more information on that. And so I just kind of let people know about that just so they can, if you heard of Americans for Prosperity or you volunteered them before, you're wondering what to do. That's just something you can get involved in. We do need people to phone bank, call folks. We will need people to, if we ever gets up, to volunteer in some other ways, possibly knocking on doors or waving signs. Pulaski County needs, I'm half Latino. How's that? Although most people who claim to be Latino are actually partial Latino. I'm as mulatto as Barack Obama and Colin Kaepernick. That's what it needs to say. It needs to say mulattoes for Trump, because that's a lot of people. Matter of fact, most Hispanics are actually mulatto themselves. They're part white, black, and Hispanic. So, well, I don't know who you were talking to, Travis. It doesn't matter. And see, Jesus, I know you're joking. So we can take jokes here. Now you try to say that to some of these black folks, especially some of these BLM folks, and they'll get angry because they think they own the black vote. They think they own the Latino vote too. Matter of fact, Sleepy Joe had some lady whose name I can't remember, part of some worthless Hispanic organization. And of course, what do you think she talked about? What do you think the Hispanic activist lady talked about with Sleepy Joe? Take a wild guess what issue was talked about all the damn time. Illegal immigration, because that's all we all think about. We're too stupid to think about anything else. Just like black people, all they can think about is race. Hey, Lee, just talked about Saturday at 6 p.m. A guy by the name of Kit Brown is threatening to tear down the Confederate statue. He's also threatening to shoot anybody who bothers him. There have been violent protests by Black Lives Matter up there before. They have brought guns up there before. They smashed windows up there. We have a coward for mayor and Mayor Frank Scott Jr., and we have a governor who will appease Black Lives Matter, but I think if things get really, I don't think he'll want things to get into a violent like shootout type situation or a Chaz Chop situation because he wants to sell a tax increase in November. So that's the kind of the update on that. Thanks. Yes, Melissa. Yeah, that was the Marshall Museum tax. I was a part of help defeating that. If that's what you're. Yes, you can defeat these tax increases if you have a group of organized activists that get together and have do a basic campaign, find out who the voters are, basic standard message, phone banking, knock on doors, do the press releases, do the public forums. Yeah, you can defeat these things. And there is an active group up there in Fort Smith, the Citizens of Fort Smith, I think is their name, or Fort Smiths for Better Citizenship or something to that effect. Melissa, you can post the Facebook group onto there. I'm glad you brought it up. There's a group up in Jonesboro, and they defeated a tax increase regarding, I think it was in January, the pro-tax group was called Team Jonesboro, and it was, I think the other group, well, it's Northeast Arkansas Tea Party, and I don't know if they formed a group to defeat the tax increase or not, but it was basically the Northeast Arkansas Tea Party. And they defeated that tax increase with the help of activists. And I actually helped a little bit in that too, because I'd post comments and I did a little more involved in the Fort Smith one. Yeah, Travis, absolutely. But anyway, what was I talking about? Americans of Prosperity is having their thing. One other thing to deal with is the I saw this story, I think it was yesterday. Is it yesterday or today? Apparently, the health department is now saying that if you don't obey some of their rules, they can send law enforcement if you refuse to quarantine. Now, how do they define who can quarantine? That's already up in the air. But they are claiming that if they order someone to quarantine and they don't do so, somehow they A, will find out and B, send law enforcement to quarantine you. It was a THV 11. I have the link to the story right here. It's in, if you look in the comments I made. Now, Travis, I don't know. You know anything about this? Hold on. Let me see if I can get Travis on here. He might know more about this than I do, because I saw this and I was like,
hey, what's up?
What's up, Travis?
What's going on?
Oh, man, just going through a whole list of events. I try to do a broadcast every Thursday at about 9:05. I'm trying to make that like a regular thing. And I just go through a whole bunch of stuff that's going on. Have you listened the whole time?
Yeah. I'll tune in when I catch you on.
Well, as I said,
we first actually met in Hot Springs, Arkansas.
Yeah. I've been down there for one of the events. I missed the Trump boat parade. I kind of wanted to go to that, but there was actually something else coming on. But I think there's another one up in Greer's Ferry coming up in August. I may go to that one.
I have no clue. I've been talking to a lot of people about all this crap going on with government, and
yeah.
Like a lot of different people, saying this, a lot of people saying that, and a lot of people saying that we need to stand our ground. It's time for patriots to stand up.
Yeah. One of the things I was involved in, the day before, I'd gone to like 3 different protests. I'd gone to the protests in front of the abortion clinic that was done by Defend the Fatherless. Then I went to the protest in front of the governor's mansion regarding the mask mandate. And then I went to the Arkansas State Capitol where Black Lives Matter was supposed to show up, but they didn't. And fortunately, and so that was good. So I was like, and then after that, I went and did some phone banking for Americans for Prosperity. And that just kind of wore me out Saturday and Sunday. I was like, I'm just going to do the day of rest thing, go to church. I actually visited a church in West Little Rock just to kind of see what it was like. I'm trying to visit churches that don't do the mask thing. And so far, there's a few that, don't do the mask at all. And then some are like, you can wear it when you come in and take it off, which is kind of dumb. But that's the kind of thing that's going on. But I was just talking about this story. I moved on down. I found this story where they had the Arkansas Department of Health claims that if they decide to quarantine you and you don't obey them, that they can send the cops over. And so, somebody sounds pretty bad. I think, Travis, I don't know, somebody's got static on the line.
So I'm cutting out right now, I guess.
Okay.
I'm cutting it right now.
Okay. Well, that's okay, but that's kind of what I was talking about. Did you have anything else to add, or?
No, I'll let you go. Hey, I don't want to interrupt your broadcast. You know what I mean? Your whatever you want to say. I just want to throw it out there. That everybody stand up and be out there.
Exactly.
And I already knew. As soon as I come on, I was going to interrupt everything.
Yeah, it's okay.
I wasn't talking on very long.
Yeah, I'm working on getting better equipment myself. I need to get a Mevo and probably a better camcorder and better laptop, but I am working on that, but that's kind of down the road. I hopefully I don't have to do any more car repairs. But anyway, Travis, I'll let you go, but thanks for coming on, chatting.
All right, brother. I appreciate you bringing me on.
All right, sure.
You have a great night. I'm going to keep watching.
All righty. All right, so that's, by the way, something you can do is you can bring a guest on. I don't know if you can do it on YouTube live or not. I'm on there as well, but I was just able to bring somebody on to talk about that. But yeah, check it out. It's on THV11. I think I posted a link here, but the Department of Health claims that they can grab people who they deemed should be in quarantine. So I don't know what that means, but we already have an unconstitutional mask mandate done by our Chinese overseer, as I call him, Asa Hutchinson. That was what the protest went to last Saturday. This Saturday, I don't think the abortion clinic is going to be open, and I don't know of any other major protests, but like I said, that thing's going to be at the Capitol. So if you go to that, probably want to bring body armor and maybe some pepper spray and have a lot of situational awareness. Because they physically attacked people already, and they have brought guns there another time. And you got a felon there that's saying he's going to shoot people while he tries to tear down the statue. I don't know how they're going to try. I don't know if they're going to bring heavy equipment or they're going to bring sledgehammers or fireworks or bombs like they do. Connection is unstable. If you have iPhone 10, would love to get an iPhone 10. I don't quite have that yet. Those are, I think I spent the money I would have spent on an iPhone 10 on repairing the sensor on the tire of my car. It's my Fundly account. You can donate the Fundly by going to this link and clicking on there, and it shows you how you can send money over. And then I'll post it here on YouTube as well. And then let me post my other links. I mentioned this as well. There's been a lot of censorship on YouTube and Facebook. And it got really bad yesterday and the day before when the doctors came out speaking about the truth regarding hydroxychloroquine, that A, it works, and B, that people survive, and C, that they do not have the deadly side effects that they claim, mainly because it's much small dosage. Most of the effects of the malaria pills are most likely over several years. So it'd be like, you take chronic use, and that can be with anything. Tylenol, Advil, I think destroys your liver. Lots of things are out there that are far more dangerous over long term than hydroxychloroquine. And they found some other cures too, like asthma medicine, and some people are like taking zinc, or they're mixing the two. But here I'm just posting my list of social media outlets, and you can go to these and set up an account on these. One of them is Parler. Parler is an alternative to Facebook, but it's not as popular. It does not have live stream, at least last time I checked. But it is a way to post certain links, and every once in a while you'll get stories in there that you should have heard but don't. Another one is called Gab, which is supposed to be an alternative to Twitter. And you can link it up with Twitter, so when you post you post a Gab, it goes to Twitter, but it also is less likely to be censored. And then the YouTube alternative is called YouTube. YouTube is has censored me several years ago. I used to get, on average 200 to 300 viewers just while posting videos, and then I think it was April of I remember I found out the time where it went from 400 viewers per post to like 2 or 3. And then what they do is they get rid of your subscribers. They don't tell you, and they didn't tell anybody about it. They just did it, and they only did it to conservatives, which is fraud. That'd be like the electric company saying, okay, we're going to cough the electricity to all Jews, just because. Or they even do it. They just cut off the electricity, and they don't even tell people why, and then you have to find out later on. It's even worse. Despite people, working hard, advice people, they put their lives, they made this a career as being a videographer. Actually, do a second job because this doesn't pay. But I made a little bit of money off of YouTube. I think about like $400 or $500 just from selling ads back when you could do that. And what they did is they cut off subscribers, have this many views in order to sell ads. And of course, most people don't do that. What was the name? Let's see. On YouTube, it is Keep Arkansas Legal. On YouTube, Keep Arkansas Legal. On Twitter, I'm Kenny W_NLR. Keep Arkansas Legal on Parler and on Gab. And I'll post the links again, or at least try to. Why is it no? What the hell? I don't know why it's not posting. Huge tube, UGE tube. I don't know why it's not. So I'm actually trying to post these links right now, and it's not letting me do it. Let me see if I can post it as a reply to you, Ann. Sometimes it works that way. But see, I've tried to post these links, and I can post it using I was able to post other links in my laptop. Okay, here it is. I had to post it as a reply to you, but when I posted it on the laptop, normally it didn't do anything. I replied to Ann, but everyone else can see this. And you click on you should be able to click on those links, and it should be able to find it right there. And then when you go there, if you don't have an account, I suggest you go ahead and set one up. Try to write down and put in Notepad the password or in Word. Because you get a bunch of these accounts, you're like, I don't know what the password is. I've actually lost a few other accounts by that happening. Oh, yeah. The Arkansas legislature met, and I think they had some emergency meetings regarding a bunch of money. Yeah, there's some bunch of shady crap going on between Asa Hutchinson issuing some of his cronies and the departments issuing demands. Sure thing, Ann. And like I said, I try to check those at least once a day, but I mean, it is like several different accounts, but you do what you can. Like I said, y'all have a good weekend. Try to stay safe from Corona and the Wuhan virus and from BLM thugs. I have a bunch of political events I'm going to try to go to. I'm not sure if I'll be able to film that event at the Capitol. I may swing by and see what's going on there, if anything. and then take a 3 to 5 minute video from a very safe distance and then leave. Hey, Lloyd. But like I said, Saturday at 6 p.m., the Confederate statue, which I think is on if you're facing the front of the state capitol, is on the right side, further on there on, I think it's Wilson or Woodrow Street. I forget the name of that street. Starts with a W right there in front of the state capitol. But if they are gathering to do anything to that statue, that's where they would be. Yes, I caught the Wuhan virus. The